No way. It's not gonna happen.
And just as a reminder, we're creeping up on some very unique numbers for hashtag. Just a promotional thing that we're doing for hashtag. I didn't tell you about it, but
okay.
If you happen to be our 100th subscriber, you get unlimited free content of hashtag sports on YouTube. You have a very subpar, compared to the league, subpar wide receiver core. How can we get these guys open?
Let's just call it what it is. I mean, they're talking about it being the worst receiver core in the NFL. I mean, and multiple media outlets have come out with similar things. And truthfully speaking, it's pretty hard to argue that they're in the bottom, that they're not in the bottom third.
Well, I don't want to hammer on them too much.
I mean, what have they done to address the position? Nothing. They've done nothing to address the position.
They feel that they want to. Well, it's
this is Doug Whaley all over again.
No, Dable won a national championship last year with a guy that got drafted 20-something, was his top wide receiver. And none of the other guys were drafted anywhere near that. But what did he do? Undrafted free agents they brought in from Alabama to talk to the veterans about the playbook. And this is what happens in this situation or this situation or blah blah blah. Which seems so silly.
Subtle things that you do on a roster that make a big difference. So I mean, bringing in a bunch of undrafted free agents to talk about and say, well, this is what this looks like. This is what this read looks like.
Yeah,
you know that does make sense.
I mean, I loved it when, McDermott did that last year when he was bringing in guys from Carolina on the defensive side of the ball, because when the meetings are over, these guys may hang out, be like, oh yeah. They just talk. They're in the locker room talking. They're on the way out to the practice field talking. They're in the stretch lines talking. They're saying this. Yeah, when he calls this, what do you look for? Well, when we ran it last year against the Saints, here's what happened. Or we ran it last year against the Falcons, here's what happened. And then, okay, all right. So it's very subtle little things that happen all the time that nobody talks about or nobody sees.
I'm concerned. I'm going to use the word concerned. I am concerned that people are going to expect the Bills to throw the ball more than 24 times a game, and I just don't see that in any case. Like, look at the quarterbacks you have on the roster. Let's just, again, I just don't see a situation where you're throwing the ball 45 times in a game. Unless 22 of them are going to Shady. They're going to be running the ball.
I think
that's it.
This is one of those things where we've talked about so many times. We've already accepted that they're only going to throw it 20 to 25 times a game.
Right, but there's going to be a portion of the fan base that expects them to start throwing the ball. Patriots throw the ball 45 times a game. Why can't the Bills throw the ball 45 times a game?
Because 12 of those are to the running backs.
Right, but that's what I'm saying is that there's a lot of soft passes in that concept, right? And Dable has that Patriots background that's primarily built on mismatches. So, who is best to identify the mismatch? Right now, if you had to pick a quarterback solely on their ability to identify a mismatch, who would it be?
Rodgers.
On the Bills roster.
You didn't specify parameters on the Bills. Okay, on the Bills roster, it'd be McCarron. Okay, that's. But for the same reason,
rank him 1, 2, 3 though. Rank him 1, 2, 3. McCarron.
I'm gonna get hate mail, but I'm only doing it based on experience.
Peterman at number 2.
Yeah, but he's almost like it's a
very soft number 2.
It's McCarron 1. Peterman's 3A. And Allen is 3B. Like, there's no, the divide of, because history has shown over the past 8 years, even though he didn't play, and I'm tired of the whole couldn't be on Andy Dalton discussion. I'm just annoyed with it. For the last 8 years, that's all he has done is read defenses at a pro level.
Yep.
So, and call his own plays and audible and do whatever he had to do. So he has so much more experience than the guys within that locker room doing that.
Right.
So he'll be able to identify because he's been in the league and he knows these guys. He knows the personnel. Now, first of all, Allen has to try to do that for his own team. Now, if he doesn't know on the Bills who the guys to stay away from, 23 and 21, you should stay away from.
Have the Bills checked to see if Nate Peterman's colorblind?
Stop it.
I'm just asking.
It only works with green and red.
I mean, if I had to talk about looking for mismatches, you know what? I don't think I could put Allen to either. Right? It's just
there's experience. That's the only reason I put Peterman ahead of him.
It is. And it's just a matter of time before he picks that stuff up. But the truth is, he's not going to get any better unless he is taking snaps with the ones in practice. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that evolves. What increases, what decreases, because you can get snaps with the ones, but they may not be quality snaps with the ones.
Yeah.
Just taking volume of snaps with the ones that's not development, right? You could take 15 snaps with the ones and 7 of them could have been a toss play. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, there's a difference between taking snaps with the ones and taking quality snaps with the ones.
But was it a pass play that he audibled to a toss? That's what I'm curious about. Did he read something and say, nah?
We're weeks away from that.
My point, you don't know. That's the thing, you don't know. The weird part about it is, like, I'll give you an example from teaching. We got, obviously, formative and summative assessments. Formative you give periodically, and summative you give at the end of the quarter or whatever. I like the fact that what they did with Allen was almost like a formative assessment. They're like, okay, we had this limited amount of time. How much did you pick up? Let's see. Okay, he ran plays with the ones. How do you do with the big boys? If you had to grade him, what was he, a C-? Was he a B+? How did he feel comfort-wise? What are the little things that happen outside of that? I'm curious to know about. Okay, well, he made this throw. Well, that's great. How did he carry himself in the huddle? How is he coming up to the line? How is his command of the offense? How is his footwork? Those little things are the things that I want to know about, because everyone was raving about the one out he threw. We know he can throw those. That's not surprising to me.
Well, that's why he got drafted. The kid's got a cannon.
Yes.
It's just you're not looking at his arm with the ones and saying, does his arm match their talent level? That's not.
No, it does.
It does. Of course it does. That's why he got drafted where he did. The velocity on that ball is screaming at all times. So that shouldn't be a question.
The Hyde and Edmonds thing was interesting too. When he talked about Edmonds picked off a pass that got tipped, and Allen went up to Hyde and asked him what he was looking at. He goes, "I was just looking at your eyes. I was just reading your eyes. That's what gave you away." But everyone was making a big deal about Allen going up to Hyde. So that's the
quarterback of that defense.
What did you see? What that caused that interception for me? What did you see? I don't mind that he did that. I don't mind that people are just everything this kid does, they're blowing it out of proportion.
I mean, it's one quarterback to another, because you're not giving Edmonds the calls in the middle of that defense right now. You're giving him to Hyde to help, move Edmonds along. Edmonds is your starter in the middle, which again I don't agree with, but given they have a ton of faith in him, but that's one quarterback to another. That's Allen going to Hyde saying, "How'd you get me?"
I'm perfectly fine with that. That has happened. That happens so many times in practice. So
I'm actually encouraged to hear that.
Yeah.
Oh man. So never mind. I'll tell you off camera.